Ever wondered which countries are actually walking the walk when it comes to environmental protection? Not just talking about saving the planet, but actually doing something about it? Some nations have slashed their greenhouse gas emissions by 40% in a single decade, while others have protected over half their land as natural reserves. These aren't just clean countries. They're pioneering entirely new relationships between humans and nature. Our rankings are based on the latest environmental performance index scores, combining metrics like air and water quality, emission reductions, waste management efficiency, renewable energy adoption, and preservation of natural habitats. This isn't just about pretty landscapes. It's about which countries are truly creating sustainable futures. Let's count down the world's cleanest nations. Number 10, Norway. Norway slides into our countdown with its dramatic fjords and seemingly endless forests. But don't let the postcard views fool you. This Nordic nation has built an environmental powerhouse behind those pretty landscapes. With over 80% of its electricity coming from renewable hydropower, Norway has practically perfected the art of harnessing nature without destroying it. They become absolute electric vehicle fanatics, with EVs making up a staggering 79% of new car sales in 2024. That's not just a small environmental program. That's a national obsession with clean transportation. About 17% of Norway's territory is protected wilderness, which might not sound impressive until you realize just how much untouched nature that represents in a country defined by mountains, glaciers, and coastlines. But while Norway talks a big game about being green, there's an elephant in the fjord. They're still one of the world's largest exporters of oil and gas. A bit like someone who meticulously recycles while running a tire fire in their backyard. And as we move up our list, we'll find countries with fewer contradictions in their environmental policies. Speaking of which, what country pioneered offshore wind energy while simultaneously withdrawing from one of the world's largest political unions? Number 9, United Kingdom. The UK might surprise you on this list, especially if your mental image is still London's infamous historical smog. But the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution has been working overtime to clean up its act. The United Kingdom now boasts the world's largest offshore wind capacity at 14 gigawatts, enough turbines spinning in the North Sea to power millions of homes. They've embraced recycling with British enthusiasm, with national rates surpassing 45% and several municipalities pushing toward zero waste. The UK has also embedded green building standards and ambitious carbon neutrality targets into law, aiming for net zero emissions by 2050. Not bad for a nation that once burned coal with reckless abandon. Of course, Brexit threw a wrench into some environmental partnerships, and the UK still struggles with air pollution in major cities. But their transformation from coal-powered empire to renewable energy innovator deserves recognition. And if you think the UK's recycling efforts are impressive, just wait until you hear about our next country, where throwing away the wrong item might actually offend your neighbors. Number 8, Sweden. Welcome to Sweden, where recycling isn't just a civic duty, it's practically a religion. This Scandinavian standout has created an almost perfect waste management system, with over 99% of household waste either recycled or converted to energy. Sweden was also an early adopter of carbon taxation, implementing one of the world's highest carbon taxes way back in 1991. Talk about being ahead of the curve. This financial nudge has incentivized businesses and citizens alike to dramatically reduce their carbon footprints long before it became trendy. The Swedes have also embraced sustainable transportation, with extensive public transit networks and bicycle-friendly cities. In Stockholm, you'll find more bikes than cars during rush hour in many neighborhoods. But Sweden's environmental credentials aren't without blemishes. Their mining industry still causes significant ecological concerns, and their consumption habits remain relatively high by global standards. Yet their systematic approach to sustainability continues to influence environmental policies worldwide. And if Sweden impresses you with its recycling prowess, wait until you see what our next country has accomplished with its vast forests. Number 7, Finland. Finland might be known for saunas and Nokia phones, but its environmental credentials deserve just as much attention. This northern nation has maintained an impressive balance of development and conservation that few countries can match. Forests cover an astounding 75% of Finland, making it one of Europe's most densely forested countries. But unlike many nations with significant forest resources, Finland has managed these green treasures under strict sustainable forestry principles, harvesting timber while actually increasing forest coverage over recent decades. Finnish air quality consistently ranks among the world's best, with minimal industrial pollution and stringent emission standards. Their water purification systems are equally impressive, providing clean drinking water nationwide without the chemical aftertaste you find in many developed nations. The Finns have a cultural concept called every man's right that guarantees public access to nature regardless of land ownership, fostering a population deeply connected to their natural environment and motivated to protect it. But despite all these strengths, Finland still hasn't broken into our top 5. What country managed to transform from industrial powerhouse to green innovation leader while still maintaining the world's 4th largest economy? Number 6. Germany. Germany proves that industrial might and environmental responsibility aren't mutually exclusive. The European powerhouse has engineered its way to impressive environmental achievements while maintaining one of the world's strongest economies. German recycling is legendary. With a recycling rate of 67%, they've transformed waste management into a science. Their famous Energiewende energy transition initiative has pushed renewable sources to provide 42% of electricity, with massive investments in wind and solar capacity. The country's approach to biodiversity protection shows the famous German thoroughness, with meticulously planned conservation programs and expanding national parks. They've essentially applied the same precision engineering mindset that builds BMWs to environmental protection. Of course, Germany's coal regions remain a significant challenge, and their industrial base still produces substantial emissions. But their systematic transformation from coal-dependent manufacturing center to renewable energy leader demonstrates the possible path forward for other industrial nations. And if you think Germany's recycling program is impressive, wait until you hear about the tiny European country that made its entire public transportation system completely free. Number 5. Luxembourg. Don't let Luxembourg's tiny size fool you. This small European duchy packs an environmental punch far above its weight class. Despite being smaller than Rhode Island, Luxembourg has implemented some of the most ambitious green policies on the planet. In 2020, Luxembourg became the first country to make public transportation completely free nationwide. No tickets, no fare cards, just hop on and go. This bold move increased transit ridership by 35% and significantly reduced the number of cars clogging their roads and polluting their air. More than 55% of Luxembourg's territory falls under environmental protection or sustainable agricultural use. An impressive commitment to preserving natural spaces despite having some of the world's highest land values. Being a wealthy nation certainly helps fund these initiatives, but many rich countries don't prioritize the environment nearly as effectively. Luxembourg shows that prosperity and sustainability can go hand in hand with the right policies. But while Luxembourg excels at clean transportation, our next country has mastered something even more fundamental: keeping an ultra-dense urban environment spotlessly clean despite space limitations that would challenge any city planner. Number 4. Singapore. Singapore defies conventional wisdom about environmental protection. How can a tiny island city-state with one of the world's highest population densities be among the cleanest places on Earth? The answer lies in meticulous planning, strict enforcement, and technological innovation. Water security presented an existential threat to Singapore from its founding, leading to pioneering water recycling and desalination systems that now provide 40% of the nation's water needs. Their NE Water program purifies wastewater to exceeding drinking standards, though most citizens still prefer to use it for industrial purposes rather than drinking directly. Singapore's anti-littering laws are legendary in their strictness and enforcement. First-time offenders face fines up to $2,000, and repeat offenders might find themselves picking up trash while wearing high-visibility vests, a powerful deterrent in status-conscious Singapore. Perhaps most impressive is Singapore's commitment to urban greening, with over 50% of the city-state covered by parks, gardens, and other vegetation. Their city in a garden concept includes spectacular structures like the Gardens by the Bay, with its iconic super trees, proving that even the densest urban environments can incorporate significant green spaces. While Singapore's small size and centralized governance give it advantages in implementing environmental policies, its achievements remain remarkable. But if a tiny city-state can revolutionize urban sustainability, what could a progressive Scandinavian country with abundant wind resources accomplish? Let's find out. Number 3. Denmark. Denmark has transformed itself into a green energy superpower through sheer determination and smart planning. This Scandinavian success story shows what's possible when a nation commits fully to environmental transformation. Wind power has become Denmark's signature environmental achievement, supplying over 50% of the country's electricity consumption. Those picturesque windmills aren't just for tourists. They're the backbone of the most successful national wind power program on Earth. Danes have also embraced cycling as both transportation and lifestyle, with bikes accounting for 18% of all trips nationwide. In Copenhagen, that number reaches an astonishing 62% of commutes. The extensive network of protected bike lanes makes cycling safer and more convenient than driving in many situations. Perhaps most impressive is Denmark's comprehensive environmental monitoring systems, bringing transparency and accountability to pollution control. Citizens can access real-time data on everything from air quality to energy consumption, creating a culture where environmental performance is constantly visible. Denmark proves that clean energy transitions don't require economic sacrifices. They've maintained one of Europe's strongest economies while slashing their carbon footprint. But while Denmark has mastered renewable energy, our next country has accomplished something perhaps even more difficult: a dramatic transition away from fossil fuel dependency in just one generation. Number 2. Estonia. Estonia might seem like an unexpected environmental leader, but this Baltic nation has engineered one of the most remarkable green transformations of the 21st century. Once heavily dependent on polluting oil shale, Estonia has revolutionized its relationship with energy and the environment. The country has slashed greenhouse gas emissions by an impressive 40% over the past decade, not through empty promises, but through systematic replacement of fossil fuels with renewable alternatives. Wind, solar, and biomass have rapidly displaced oil shale in the nation's energy mix. As one of the world's most digitally advanced societies, Estonia has applied its tech expertise to environmental management. Their digital governance systems integrate environmental data for real-time monitoring and transparent decision-making, letting citizens track everything from forest management to air quality through their smartphones. Estonia has also invested heavily in expanding urban green spaces and electrifying public transportation, creating cities that are both technologically advanced and environmentally sustainable. Their approach proves that even nations with challenging environmental legacies can rapidly pivot towards sustainability with the right policies. Estonia's transformation is impressive, but our top country has maintained environmental excellence for decades through a combination of strict laws, citizen engagement, and a culture that prizes cleanliness above almost everything else. What nation has managed to keep both its cities and countryside pristine while maintaining one of the world's highest standards of living? Number 1. Switzerland. Switzerland takes our top spot by excelling across virtually every environmental measure. This alpine nation has perfected the art of living lightly on the land while maintaining an exceptional quality of life. Swiss air and water quality consistently rank at the very top of global measurements. The country's strict industrial regulations and thoughtful urban planning have created cities where you can actually breathe deeply without worry, a luxury in today's world. Their waste management system is a marvel of efficiency, recovering over 71% of waste through one of the world's most comprehensive recycling programs. Swiss citizens meticulously separate their trash into numerous categories, a habit instilled from childhood. Perhaps most impressive is Switzerland's protection of natural ecosystems, particularly in the Alps. despite pressure from tourism and development. The Swiss have maintained extensive natural parks and protected areas, preserving biodiversity and the iconic landscapes that define their country. Switzerland demonstrates that environmental excellence requires more than just good policies. It needs cultural buy-in and citizen participation. Their achievement represents decades of consistent effort rather than flashy initiatives, proving that environmental leadership is a marathon, not a sprint. These 10 countries show us different paths toward environmental leadership, from Estonia's digital governance to Denmark's wind revolution, from Singapore's urban planning to Switzerland's comprehensive approach. Each offers valuable lessons for nations looking to clean up their environmental act. Which of these clean countries surprised you most? And which one would you most want to visit? The world's greenest destinations aren't just helping the planet. They're creating more livable communities for their citizens and more memorable experiences for travelers lucky enough to visit.